the Lesh. That's likely our Palos hero. Maybe Flux on the offlane for Raging Potato, but that probably is their pos one. It's looking sort of like the same thing we see from Obi Neon, right? They run the TA for Yopaj. He's the win condition. Safe laner Palots in this case will take the Lesh. He's not going to farm as much. He will apply pressure on the towers. And it's an interesting dynamic from Execration. They've got push with the Leshrac. They've got counter push with the Treant to protect their own towers. So as long as they get their push going, you don't need to worry about SMG going for those tower trades all too early on.
I mean, it's certainly one of those kind of speedrunning drafts, as we like to name it. Execration, they even pick up the Earth Spirit, and it is a very nice kind of Earth Spirit game to play. You've got, again, this really kind of mid-game heavy lineup right now for Execration. And I say mid-game, but you can get started as early as like 10 minutes into the game if you want with this Leshrac. So Earth Spirit can have a nice time. Going back to SMG's draft, though, they've got the Darkseer, they've got the Tusk. Very, very potent offlane to have. In conjunction with both the Iron Shells on the Darkseer and the Tusk, and the tag team, plus the Shards, it's very hard to survive if you do get caught out, whether it's the tag team or whether it's the Shards. Both options not going to be very fun for this Treant Protector, who is probably going to be in the pos 5 role in that top lane, or rather bot lane for Execration. So I think the offlane for SMG in particular is looking very, very scary. I am curious though, where do they go with their mid and their safe lane? So again, I think it's going to be quite hard to keep the TA and the Leshrac controlled in this game. It does feel like they're probably going to have a very nice time thus far. How do you kind of keep them caged up?
You want something on mid that's active if it's not Darkseer mid, and I'm going to lean towards Darkseer Tusk being too strong of a lane to flex Darkseer mid here. Maybe something more active for Moon. We've seen him play Ricky. Ricky matchup against TA doesn't feel too bad, and it does come online quick. You've got Iron Shell, Blink in as well, that can work out. So you can be aggressive early on. We have seen Moon also play very off-the-cuff stuff like Bounty Hunter mid, and they go with Winter Wyvern. So the Moon Winter Wyvern mid looks like is coming out here for SMG. He's done this before in group stage as well. Wyvern mid is pretty scary if it does manage to get the build up. You have a steady source of burn to kind of annoy the TA with Refraction. You've got really good range, and you can clear out the creep wave with Splinter Blast. Of course, the healing down line has some use here as well. So it does provide a lot for SMG. Even Teamfight, Vac, plus the Winter's Curse down line, for all the control can come true. You can turn the TA against her own team and just kind of run from there. So I love this very interesting mid pickup from SMG, going for the Winter Wyvern. Just curious to see how it actually holds lane. You don't tend to see the matchup too well. It is a ranged hero. So as Crest likes to say, Crest PH, he likes to say that ranged heroes actually do get hit by the side blades more because there is a bigger radius for the TA to kind of line up shots. So we'll have to see how well Moon can kind of juggle that around.
Who doesn't get hit by side blades these days, though, John? Sometimes I feel like when we're casting these games, I'm getting hit by the side blades. I mean, it's just the amount of range these things have. I don't know if you saw that. I can't remember where it was. I think it was Reddit, but the meme somebody made, because there was a clip of a TA hitting a Phoenix, and then side blades went off the map. There was nothing behind the Phoenix. And I think they clipped in like Mario from Super Mario dying to side blades. That's just how long the range is. It's quite a hilarious meme when I did see it, but it does feel very realistic, John. I mean, we keep seeing it every game. Somebody's getting clipped by a side blade and dying, especially if it's the Meld Strike. Don't forget, apparently they're pure damage for some reason, in case they weren't good enough. I mean, I can't wait, because I think we're, 4 or 5 days away from a new patch now, according to, depending on Valve time. We don't 100% know, but it should hopefully be 4 or 5 days away from a new patch dropping. SMG, going to finish off the draft here strong. They do go into the Luna.
Yep, it's a great win condition for SMG to have. It's the battle between TA and Luna timings. We saw the battle between Luna Medusa timings. I think that was one where mid one really itemized well to have early presence. Execration, go back to the Grimstrokes. It looks like they might run the off-lane Treant here for Raging Potato, going back that route. It's been a while since we've seen off-lane Treant. Can still be effective. And BDZ back in the Grimstroke, so maybe just looking for the Dark Portrait play again onto mid one. They will actually give it to BDZ this time on the Earth Spirit. And of course, he's a fantastic Earth Spirit player. So we'll have to see if he can apply that pressure for the team. SMG, their lineup looks much more in line with what we're used to seeing in meta. Execration are going a bit out there with their build. Actually, Raging Potato Grimstroke off lane, not the off lane tree. So, huh? I mean, it works out in lane, right?
You know-
Earth Spirit Grimstroke is a strong lane. It's just Grimstroke tree. I don't know.
Well,
We've seen mid, right? Wait, we've seen mid in Singapore Major from Limp. We were casting that. I
Yep.
don't know about off lane though. Huh.
I don't know. I've never seen offlane Grimstroke before, apart from pubs. But you know, John, those don't tend to work out very well. Though, if anyone was wondering, apparently how you run offlane Grimstroke and lose with it, by the way, is to rush Dagon. So there you go. If you feel like losing some MMR, pick Grimstroke in the offlane, rush a Dagon. I can guarantee 99% of the time you are probably going to lose, just like I did, John. In no control of my own, by the way. I wasn't the Grimstroke. I'll just tell you that. I'm sure you can already assume I wasn't playing Grimstroke, but somebody. What is it, John?
Did you really have a game like that?
I did. You can look it up.
Grim and
You can look it up. Southeast
you have
Asia,
some
John.
great games, fine.
Yeah.
You have some great games.
Oh, they've
Jeez.
been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, we'll see what Raging goes for again. I'm assuming this is for the Ags rush, so you get farm priority just to have that Dark Portrait to kind of make a Luna of your own. And we saw the Dark Portrait last game, hit and miss, because if it is focused in by the enemy team, it can just melt. Have to say, with that last pick here from Execration, I'm going to actually lean towards SMG Strap, because I have no clue what Raging Potato will do. He's going to have to show us how impactful the offlane Grimstroke can be. There's a lot of damage that can fly out. There's a very specific timing to that hero on the offlane. And for SMG, Midwinter Wyvern can be busted, especially if it does get off to a running start. You've got the Luna to face off against the TA. And sure, maybe the 25-minute timing will feel better for the TA. But I think as it scales on and the farm evens out, the Luna starts to get some presence back as well. So it's a back and forth on the win conditions. It's just a big question mark with offlane Grimstroke.
I mean, not for me, John. I've seen it. I know what to expect. No, we will see. I mean, Raging Potato, he's a great player. I can't wait to see what he has, up his sleeve here with this Grimstroke. So looks like he's going to go into the double null talisman straight off the bat. I wouldn't blame him for going down the Dagon route, John. I think it'd be a lot of fun to go down the Dagon route.
It'd be fun. I don't know if it'd scale. I don't know if you'd really want that for scaling here. I'd say Ags Rush. I can see Sight of Vice Rush for double Hex.
That's boring.
And that's really where you get the impact. I think that's what we saw Limp build on his mid. So I think that same sort of build up. But Dagon is fun. I will agree. I just don't know if it's good.
Oh, big group up. This is what we love to see in Southeast Asia. Moon, he's on that Midwinter Wyvern. Don't forget, John. He has to get the hell out, and he might just make it, but the side plays were jumping to him. He does go down. BDZ, he will drop, and now the cleanup crew comes in. Execration trying to go for a bit more. They won't get it. It's a bit unfair to Moon, John. We talked about the offlane Grimstroke. What about the Midwinter Wyvern? How do you feel about that?
Moon's done it before. That's the thing. I've seen some other teams run Midwinter Wyvern as well. We know it used to be a thing as well when we were casting like a year and a half ago, where you'd rush Orchid and Ags. Not quite the same build-up now. I think you go Witchblade along with the Arctic Burn. You just do a lot of damage from a mile. You farm up. Eventually, you go into that old core Wyvern build. Of course, in this lane, Bob should have a decent enough time with the Psyblades, but Moon, Arctic Burn is a pretty good spell to burn through, right? Bob's going to have to eat through regen. Issue is, Arctic Burn is also a very long cooldown, so the uptime's not amazing, and Bob's going to be able to just twack away with you with pure damage in exchange. So overall, TA still has a decent time. It's just down to who really oversteps their bounds here.
Top lane, a lot of damage being dealt already from Execration towards SMG. Mid one, he's going to salve up. Rogi, he may not be so lucky. Stroke of Fate, BDZ hasn't... Oh, he will spot him now. He's got to be careful. The roll is back up here on BDZ, but they're going to try and fight this one out. BDZ never pops it. So Raging couldn't really follow up, and now mid one is going to try and pressure Raging Potato. Actually, we'll let it go as he does get into the tree line, but not too bad of a start here for SMG. Already 2-1 their way. But as I say that, I suppose it is 2 for 2 now, as Rogi does end up letting himself go with that tier 1 top tower.
Fair move to make. He was out of mana. Probably just wants to reset, so he has presence with the Aphotic Shield. You're still giving a lot of space to mid 1. Raging Potato can't quite zone out mid 1. I mean, he can keep spamming the Stroke of Fate, I guess with level 2 up, you can look for the roll Inkswell and play aggressive from there, but you really have to worry about the Abaddon. Like, as the levels go up, the Aphotic Shield is going to be a massive nuisance here.
Raging again being targeted here by SMG in this offlane, and I think it's one of those things, right? Like, it's an offlane Grimstroke, you know, it's not a very tanky target to go after. Yes, it can be dangerous. So you have plenty of turn potential with that Stroke of Fate and the Inkswell. But it's still, you know, a Grimstroke. It doesn't really have that high of a HP pool and can get caught out very easily. Though as I say that, they're going to make the roll in onto Rogi. Aphotic Shield going to block off a lot of the damage. BDZ, he will get the kill, but you give a kill back the way of mid one. I can't really say that was worth for Execration.
No, and they're trading supports. The opposing safe laner will always enjoy that kind of trade. Even if, you know, the Abaddon's not getting levels, he doesn't need much. And you're not stopping mid one from farming despite all this aggression coming out from Raging. So mid one's still going to be able to farm into the power treads, go into the jungle, clear out camps, and there's not much Raging can do to stop that. We'll have to see if they keep playing aggressive with that Earth Spirit down the line. Last lane, of course, we haven't looked at is bot. You've got KP there on the Darkseer, laning up against RR and Treant and Palos on the Leshrac. He's got Afu around on the Tusk to help him out. So they've got the tag team Iron Shell that can fly through. Issue is, it's a double-edged sword if you commit too hard on the Lesh. We've seen this before. Once you have level 2 Diabolic Edict up, the damage coming out can turn against you. And that is something you have to watch out for. Even the Treant's fairly tanky as well, RR. He has great right-click and lots of HP, so you can't really look for the trades. It's a stable farming lane, and you are still getting a decent amount out here for Palos. KP's not really able to secure much CS, so in a sense, this is good.
The top lane, Raging Potato, does end up dropping. Immediate tips out from mid one. Love the tipping game out from mid one, and he's been very aggressive with those tips towards Raging Potato. But you love to see it. I mean, mental warfare is part of the game.
Oh yeah. Just trying to get under the skin of Raging, and he's getting himself a really good lane as well. I can understand the viewpoint of mid one. Like, he must be asking himself the same question. What does Execration expect from the offlane Grim? Maybe a level 6 timing is going to be more active for him, but for now, it's not stopping mid one, and he just controls the lane after the pull. He's just going to be able to farm up and keep building up.
That he is. Rogi now going to invade that Radiant Triangle, try to suss out if there's any stacks being made. He'll find nothing though. There's no stacks quite up yet for Bob on the TA. And speaking of Bob, he's doing a great job in that mid lane. Rogi is going to try and interfere now. It's not really too much he can do about this TA. And it turns out, even with the Wyvern, with that Arctic Burn, it's still proven to be not quite as effective as you would have once hoped against Bob's TA. But once he has that Witch's Blade up, let me tell you, John, it becomes hellish to try and go up against that core Wyvern. Still Rogi. We chase down. Boulder Smash is going to connect. Nice little kick there from BDZ. It looks like Bob's going to feel more than comfortable to just go back to the jungle, because he's TA and he can do that.
Easy times for Bob coming through. Moon, he might not be slowing down the TA. At the same time, he's not lagging too far behind either. So you should still be able to hit some decent timings on those initial items on the Winter Wyvern. You could start looking for maybe a bit of an early play with the Winter's Curse at 6. Maybe just try to lock down the TA. Could be one option here. Aside of Execration, yeah, it's still a fairly even start. Their cores are farming up. Bob is top in CS, so is Palos. So the initial farm's lining up. You're not lagging too far behind an SMG. 4-4. Approaching the 6-minute mark. Less than 1k lead for Execration. I think the big worry is mid one. Like, he's, again, had a pretty free lane. And sure, you're slightly ahead on Palos, but mid one clears the jungle a lot faster.
Look at the amount of damage Rogi's taking on this Abaddon. Trap out. BDC's around. Moon's going to interfere, and Arfu's there. Nice shards out. They're going to try and go after Bob. Refraction is going to be burnt through very quickly, and now they could go right for the main target, but BDZ is going to roll in with RR around. Nice snowball to juke out the Stroke of Fate, but Moon, he's the main target for RR at least. Meanwhile, Arfu does get caught in the mid lane on the Tusk. It's like Moon does end up crawling his way out on that Wyvern. And the curse is going to be there. He's going to try and still get the kill, and he might just get it. But no, Bob, he will survive. Gets the trap out. BDC's there with the roll, and they do punish him. I love the attempt there from Moon. He was one hit away Unfortunately, the Treant Protector does not hit very fast.
Way too slow. Have to say RR has been on point with Nature's Grasp. On that mid, on the side ramp, he just cuts off the entire engagement. Really gave that fight towards Execration. And for Execration's part, that does free up the side lanes a bit. You don't mind, you're saving your win condition, you're giving him space to farm, you're building up stacks, and Bob will eventually become pretty hard to control. Only has the power treads now, so no build up yet towards the Dragonlance. But you're already getting a lot of room out. Like Palos down bot, already 6. Level 3 Edict. I think at some point you might want to make that rotation mid with the Leshrac, or just shove in the bot tier 1 somehow and get some objectives going to really shrink the map down of SMG.
Palos. Just gonna take some nice farm away on that Leshrac. Still is behind mid 1 on that Luna, but yeah, that is somewhat to be expected here against the Luna. Both of them can farm at about the same rate. Except mid 1, he's not held back by his mana pool. More so his HP pool, but of course, even that's not going to bother him too much as he is just farming the jungle. Mid lane, RR has been caught out. Nice snowball by Arfu with the tag team, but Bob's going to come in. Nice curse though. But they are going to still lose Arfu as the roll is forward onto Moon. They want to try and go after that big target on the Wyvern. Kick back towards the mid lane. With Rogi TPing in, they did not want to risk it. Now Moon still going to be able to take away a haste rune. Rogi, got to be careful though. Bob still gets a double kill regardless.
Yeah, great trade coming out for Execration, forcing all the supports to kind of collapse mid once more and giving Bob some much needed kills. They are going to smoke. They're hunting down that Luna.
Scan out though. Really nice scan. Mid 1. Good game since they're realizing that they may have made that rotation, and I'm still looking at this mid lane where, you know, Bob, this is about that point on the TA where you start to see him really escalate. Of course, hasn't picked up the Dragonlance yet, but just about has enough gold. We'll see if he can keep up with mid 1 on this Luna. Because BDZ has gone in to scout out some stacks, and he does find some large camp stacks, but no ancient stacks being made for mid 1, so both teams kind of thinking ahead and just knowing that they don't want to give it back the other way. RR does get caught out. Nice vacuum there from KP. Mid 1 going to pick up his 3rd, or rather 4th kill of the game.
Yeah, and that should line up for a bot push here for mid 1. They're going to go for the tier 1 tower, open up the bot jungle a bit. Bob is lining up for top, so they're going to go for a trade. They aren't dragging their Leshrac out. I'm surprised that Execration are investing more in Palos to get initial farm in the jungle rather than Bob. And they do miss out on a bit of a push, but Bob's got good right-click damage. So the trade will be underway 1 for 1. Not going to miss out on too much on either side. But for SMG, they have to push against a Treant. So it's a slower process with a healing armor. And it's eventually you're going to have the numbers, but it is slightly slower because of that.
Very slightly. They'll still just commit and take care of it, because there's going to be no defense coming in from Execration. So no real reason to try and back off. So both teams, I think, are just going to take the time now to try and get their farm up. Only about 10.5 minutes in. Moon, he's quite close to the Witch's Blade now. Needs a bit more gold, and he's going to take his time to farm it up at the top lane. And that's about the point where I think you'll see Moon start to make those rotations with the team. Because you really don't need much more after you have that Witch's Blade up. You can pretty much solo anyone on the map, apart from maybe the TA. But that's assuming she has Refraction already going. Apart from that, everyone else is pretty killable for Moon on this Wyvern. Fu, speaking of killable, it's going to back off. Inkswell still going to be there, but a nice snowball dodge, and Walrus Punch walk away. The Boulder Smash is out, but they don't want to run through that wall. KP saving the day there for Arfu, and now Execration gonna have to try and find themselves another target. Looks like that target is gonna be the mid tier 1 tower.
They've got the Diabolic Edict if they need it, probably waiting for the Fortify commitment first. Not quite up from SMG, so no option for that, and that's the mid gone. That's gonna lead to the dire invasion here.
Found the Abaddon. Rogi, oh, he's still not level 6, he's just barely off that level 6 mark. So he can't really tank these ganks right now as Arfu Notices them running up. Palos not going to be able to get the vision on the Tusk. I suppose KP was there just in case he needed a surge. So it's just happy days for both teams right now. You've got to ask the question, which team is happier with the state of the game? It's Bob and mid one. They're only 200 gold in difference. It's really not that far. They are very close to the moment. Who do you favor going into that mid game, like, if they've got equal farm?
I think big difference here is in the other cores. So mid one's top, but Bob and Palos are within range, whereas Moon and KP are lagging too far behind. The only core lagging behind in Execration is Raging. He doesn't need much farm anyway. So it's down to the fact that you've got one more core that's farmed up and you're forcing a fight.
Yeah, that is a big target mid one, but no, the curse. Moon puts an end to it all. RR's gonna die, and now the Eclipse is out. They will just clean them up. It's a nice attempt there from Execration, but Moon, he seemed to understand something was coming. With the Winter's Curse, turns it right back around.
Yeah, that should mean Curse and Eclipse are down. So Bob is just going to put his body forward, try to do some damage while he can. He is alone, though. And, like, no help for the defense. That's going to be the mid-tier 1 tower trade. SMG get off with a pretty nice team fight, but Execration could force a fight back here if they want.
Try. Palos is going to move in with that Yule Scepter, but Lucent Beam going to make sure the Split Earth never comes out, and now the shards are there. Fu, he catches out the Leshrac. Big Split Earth, though. They will turn it around. Palos is still going to die, however. So they still get a great kill out of that. But they may lose another core as Moon is going to try and back. There's your overgrowth there from RR, trying to set up BDZ to roll in. Inkswell is going to pop Moon. He will eventually die. Mid one, though, looking to clean up himself. Does kill off another. But Bob is the real winner here, as he is going to get a full team wipe. Mid one immediately getting tipped here by everybody on the side of Execration.
Oh, man. You gotta love Bob's build, though. Like, he rushes Blink. How many TAs have we seen in this meta rush Blink Dagger first? He's just so active because of this. He joins the fights. He knows he's got the damage. He knows there is still the potential for Cold Embrace to save, but it is a level 1 Cold Embrace and it can put you in an awkward spot. You're the pause 2 here on the Winter Wyvern, so you have to focus on getting good position for damage instead. And Bob's just doing good work with that Blink. He's still going to have a good timing on his Deso follow-up as well. He's got a lot to play for, although Moon...
I mean, with that Witch's Blade, it's not hard. He will commit the curse. Does he have enough? The silence was there. Splinter Blast is going to land. Raging. He'll make a run. They are still going to... Oh, they actually got the backup. Bob's here now. Melt Strike is out. He can Cold Embrace as much as he wants, but Moon has been caught. He's going to drop. Or is he? Arctic Burn over the tree line. Rogi, he does save the day. They can still get some vision here with the traps, but now Arfu rolls in with the snowball. Walrus Punch there as well, a mid one. He's going to show up on the Luna, and it turns out Moon is going to survive. As it's Bob who does drop. That's a great rotation in from SMG.
Good punishment coming out. They do manage to find a big kill. One thing they did lose on the map, though, is their bot tier 1. So the split push is coming out from Execration with the Lesh. And that heavy commitment has to line up for an objective. They're going to look for the top push. Respawn on Bob isn't too far off, so they can still go in for the defense. And of course, they can stall out with the living armor. So they can't really fully commit. In the end, I think Execration will take that trade, considering the space they gain out of it for Palos. He's got his Kaya up. He's rushing into his Bloodstone next. And once he's got that up, he will have a lot of forward presence. He's going to have the mana pool to just sustain the Pulse Nova spam, to sustain the Edict. You still don't quite have big burst damage on SMG to melt the Leshrac at this point, and you still need some space for mid 1. He's lagged behind in farm because he has to join this early activity from Bob, and now the top farmers are all on Execration. Palos, Bob up above in net worth. Moon has steadily climbed back up. At least he's above Raging Potato. Still not at that quick pace you'd expect for a big core, but it is a Winter Wyvern. Farming pace is one of its weaker points, despite having that Splinter Blast. It's still not the quickest farmer.
Absolutely not. Stroke of Fate there. Moon does cop it. Arfu doing that Iron Shell trick on the stack in the die jungle. He'll take a couple for himself, though. In fact, he'll take pretty much all of them. And that will allow him to secure that Blink Dagger up. Really enjoy the fact that Iron Shell doesn't trigger the aggro of the neutral camps as long as the Darkseer isn't close enough. Top lane, BDZ. Winter's Curse is there. Moon is going to lock him down and should have enough damage to finish off the kill, and does. Nice pick off there from Moon and BDZ. He's still got his 4-staff anyway, so probably not going to be too upset. But definitely a very nice pick off there from Moon.
He was worth a lot of gold. 417 for a support kill is not insignificant, and that's going to help Moon rush his Ags. So it's going to be the Ags rush with the Arctic Burn toggle. Lots of range, lots of damage that can fly out now from Moon once that's up. It's still a ways off, but he will eventually have it, and that's when the mid-Winter Wyvern starts to get really spicy. You do have the Desolator up on Bob, so it feels like Execration might line up for a pickoff. Look for the Roshan next. That's around the timing we see for teams with the TA. We'll have to see how far they commit.
They have grouped up. Big smoke up as well. 5 heroes here from Execration. Massive power spike as well for Execration. Curse is not up either, so they don't have to worry about that as they get right into mid one. Snowball not going to be able to save. The Soulbind is there. Eclipse is out though. The vacuum to drag them back. The wall is down. Palace, he's still trying, but mid one, he is still alive. He's going to try and run, but no, they get him. Bob, he got the final hit off. Rogi, he'll be another casualty of this battle. But the buyback is there from Rogi's. They are going to reinitiate now. Moon, he's got the curse back up. Palos has gone a bit too far and might just pay for it. In the end, still favorable for Execration, but SMG still going to be pretty satisfied with the fact that they at least got that POS 1 Leshrac.
Yep, did cost them a buyback on the Abaddon. They could still look to force that fight with Winter's Curse. Bob's got to be a bit careful here.
He's going to be alright. He'll just back right off. Snowball, though. Arfu going to initiate onto BDC. The melt strike from the low ground. Arfu is going to be safe by Moon, but not for long. I didn't see one miss there from Bob. He's rolled forward. Winter's Curse, but they've got the Dark Portrait now. And they've got the Curse of Avernus with the Abaddon Illusion. They're going to abuse that against Rogi and try to chase down Moon. And this might just be the idea. Dark Portrait's up. We know how much damage it does, especially with the Luna on the other side of the field. And well, this could be a very painful time now for SMG as the Roshan has been started by Execration.
It's that timing on TA. You have Desolator, you have physical output with the Diabolic Edict as well. So it's not going to take too long. No curse here for Moon means that the team fight's not going to feel great there for SMG. Wall is going to be back up, but KP's a bit too far off. And it should be a nice, safe Aegis here for Execration. They've got the safety net on Bob. They can look to keep applying that pressure. Maybe wait for the BKB on Bob first, but everyone else can still keep running forward.
Execration going for the chase up towards the north. See if they could find mid one on that Luna, but he has already backed off.
This will come back.
That Dark Portrait. Just get the push on, raging, getting the job done for his team. Still have to juggle that HP around. It's a very vulnerable illusion. Doesn't really get that much tankiness out. But if you can just keep split pushing like that, keep catching out the Luna illusions because you went for Manta on mid 1, you can punish it and get a lot of value there early on. Moon, his Ags is 1 part away. So we are very close to seeing the Arctic Burn just being constantly active for Moon. Gives him much more presence in these fights. And then he can start thinking about what to go for next. Maybe Maelstrom, maybe an Orchid into Bloodtorrent. You know, a lot of options there to transition into a big core for Moon. And he has been really impactful. Even the solo pickoffs with the Winter's Curse are very worthwhile. And SMG are still staying in the game. Issue is that farm distribution is still lagging a bit behind KP. I mean, he's got his pipe up. He's saving for the blink next. So you're going to have that initiation Moon.
It's alright. I was going to bring this up with you as well, John, but it does feel like Moon's going to have another pretty big power spike once he does have that Aghanim Scepter up. He's just about 180 gold off now. And that Arctic Burn just being up permanently, it seems like it's going to be a pretty massive issue, because you can just keep hitting different targets, and the DPS will just keep going. And again, with the Witch's Blade, it's just that much worse for the side of Execration.
Yeah, you can start thinking about going for the Maelstrom, the Orchid, the Bloodtorrent next. Lots of options for the Winter Wyvern to shift the item build around depending on what the team needs. And that's where it becomes a big issue. Like, they have to be able to find Moon in the backline because his range is insane with Arctic Burn up. And that can be easier said than done. You don't have the Ember Spirit on hand here. Ags is up, so there you go. Toggle on and off for Moon. Lots of impact that can fly through. Double damage on the bot rune spot. SMG is securing it for themselves. Just going to hand it over to Moon. So DD, Arctic Burn, Winter Wyvern. That's nice. That
is very nice.
Wyverns.
Moon's going to be hitting like an absolute truck, and they want to go for a smoke straight off the bat. They want to abuse this Aghanim Scepter. They want to use the Vacuum Winter's Curse. And of course, the double damage. Bungie Bob. Oh, he had his BKB, but it's in the backpack. He went for the clarity, and it might cost him. So he won't be able to get it off. He's going to lose the Aegis. Still Rogi, going to be chased down. BDZ off the mark with the roll, but they still want to go for this chase. Trying to punish, but look at the amount of damage Moon's doing. BDZ just about to drop, and KP does get him. Up to Palos. They'll go after that Leshrac. RR looking for the overgrowth. Won't find one, but now it does. Still Palos is in big trouble. He'll try to fight back with the Bloodstone active, but it's not going to be enough. They catch him out, and slowly with this Arctic Burn, he is just melting. Zara. He just can't run. Moon, with the double damage on top, is just doing too much damage. He wants more. Snowball going to be into the base, raging. Going to be okay. Bob now going to be jumped. They've still got the Arctic Burn going in the cold embrace. Arfu. He's going to remain alive. Bob, he's still going to go back for the kill. And in the end, he will survive in the base. So now they'd love to catch Moon, but no, Moon's going to be just fine. He will TP on the high ground.
You know what's absolutely silly about that Ags on Moon? When he switches it on, he has bonus 25% move speed. With it travels, he hits 550. He hits move speed cap the entire time he has Arctic Burn on. That is pretty silly. He's not under any threat of being caught out unless the stun flies into the back. And the reach of Execration now, it feels like they depend on BDC. He has to get the roll off. Issue is you're trying to roll on someone who's constantly hasted. I don't really know if that's something you should really expect out of the Earth Spirit to always land, because Moon is just a bit too quick now with this kind of build-up. So they're going to have to find a way to kill off the Winter Wyvern, and that is not an easy task. Maybe a blink on RR towards the back line with the overgrowth could be one way to get that done, but as long as Moon gets to get his hits off, these fights are very hard to take for Execration.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Top lane SMG starting to group up. Might run into somebody. RR is around, but he is going to be able to back off. Lions have been drawn out into that Radiant Triangle. There is 3 smokes available on Rogi right now. They've got every spell up but the Eclipse. And that'll be up in 15 anyway, so you could easily go for a smoke and try to abuse all the spells you have here on SMGs. It does feel like they're kind of middle of a pretty big power spike right now. I mean, as long as Bob's controlled in the middle of these team fights, it just doesn't seem like Palos can do quite enough to really be able to fight them back. Especially with that Winter Wyvern Ags, you could just kite them out so easily. Now, speaking of the Devil, Moon, he's going to show up at the bot lane. Might just annoy Bob a little bit. In fact, he won't just annoy him, he'll try to go for the kill. He's not going to have enough, and the help is coming in, but with that added movement speed, he just runs so quick. He'll be just fine. TP's out. Execration. They will not find anything, but they will at least get out with their lives intact.
That's a close call. Not quite managing to get the lockdown. If they had the Cursed Den, they might have been able to find some punishment, but SMG are still smoked up. They're still hunting.
RR. Mid lane. They have found the big one. They've got the Winter Wyvern, but again, Moon, he can just fly over the edge and just be fine. Now they will turn around. Palos, you just can't get any damage up. Bob, he's trying to meld and just survive through this mid one. He's got the Eye of Skadi up and just going at it. Bob, he just really can't do anything right now. The TA just gets demolished in the middle of this team fight. They got BDT to boot, and he just literally couldn't move.
Yep. Just stuck in a really awkward position there for Bob. SMG starting to hit those big spikes. They do a ton of damage. Their Loon is very tanky up front. with the Scotty and the Satanics very close as well here for mid one. So they just can't get bursted down.
Oh, Walrus Punch, that's another great target here for SMG. The curse is even there, just to make sure there's no games, Moon. 9-3 and 5 now on that Winter Wyvern. It's SMG. They'll go through the mid-tier 2 tower. And I can't imagine Execration being able to even think about defending.
They can at least stall out with living armor, but at this point it doesn't really stall out for too much. Have to say, and we forgot to point this out in draft, they've got normal punch and walrus punch here. Look at that.
Amazing. Snowball in, raging. It's going to be able to turn around with the Dark Portrait onto mid one. And that Dark Portrait, it does a lot of damage. Not enough yet, but they will be able to stroke a fate down Rogi. SpeedyZ rolled a bit too far, going to try and roll back out. Looks like he's going to be fine. In fact, he wants to go back in now with the Inkswell. Mid one, going to barely avoid the roll, and now they'll just take down BDZ. And very nice kiting here from SMG. It all does end up paying off.
Yeah, they are just slowly choking out Execration now on SMG's end, taking over the triangle. Satanic finished on mid one. Roche a minute and a half away. So they're not going to be able to just go for the big objective just yet. And the high ground still holds for Execration. So all things considered, not the worst situation for the Radiant side. They need more farm on Bob. He's lagging behind that Luna now. And Moon is nipping at his heels. The rest of the heroes on Execration just not really given space to grow. Palos, his Bloodstone's down to 8 charges. He's just not been able to build up on that item on Lesh. And they're losing impact with the Leshrac as well. He just can't sustain against all the damage coming out from SMG. It's becoming the Bob show, which we have seen Bob deliver on similar circumstances before. He just needs a ton more space. So they just have to keep farming and hope that they manage to hold true to this onslaught.
Vacuum. They've got RR. There's your normal punch out and RR. Hey, it's very hard into the Darkseer when you've got that vacuum available on KP. That'll be another tier 2 top tower to drop. I suppose at this point, SMG, they could just wait out the next Roshan. Or they could try to force a tier 3 tower. And it looks like they're going to try for the tier 3.
Yeah, I don't see why you pull back. Like, your Luna's super strong, you have Curse. Oh.
Just to Yule's up. Onto the tier 3 they go. Arfu just making sure that if anyone's too far forward, they're going to be able to catch them out. Of course, with the Cold Embrace, you could just keep these creeps alive, as now Roll is there with the kickback and the Inkswell, but the Snowball is going to buy time. Wall has been dropped. BDZ, he's going to roll out. Eclipse is out as well. Bob still trying to fight. Mid one, he's going to just try and run now, but Palos is going to be there to cut them off. Or is he? It's so much damage going back the way to him from Moon on the Wyvern. They do at least kill off Arfu and KP, but they will not be able to stick around for that tier 3 top tower.
It's a pretty great save from Execration. They managed to hold on to the tier 3. They can heal it back up with a Treant, so they can kind of force SMG to come back for it. And they do smoke up down the Lesh, but it is all about Bob getting his damage off. He will have Daedalus as well coming out from his smoke, just going to the shop to buy out. Roshan is up. SMG, they might just want to set their sights onto that objective first, but they have to worry about Bob's damage. If they don't get the Winter's Curse off in a big way, Bob can still rip through you with that Daedalus up.
Looks like they're going to try after Moon. Roll. He kind of on target. Boulder Smash is there, but again, he just runs too fast. He just toggles on the Arctic Burn, goes over the edges. If you don't get the initial stun off, you just can't catch the man. Meanwhile, mid lane, there was an attempt onto Bob. He's going to be just fine. He does blink out. But man, oh man, SMG with this draft, it just feels impossible to get a good fight going Execration's way.
Yeah, it's Winter Wyvern mid. You just can kind of do this all day, although Afu.
Yeah, he's alright. KP backs back. Does drop the wall onto Raging. Don't forget that is a position 3 Grimstroke. So they'll even get the normal punch out. He's not going to go too far in though. SMG just kind of forcing Execration back. In fact, Arfu's not done. He wants to keep going. But BDZ is going to be fine to roll away. And well, SMG They're still not done. They're still trying to find another target. They seem to know RR might be around the area, and... oh, they're barely going to miss out. Luckily for RR, he does get himself out. But it looks like SMG, they found the target they really want. It's going to be the Roshan.
Not going to take too long to take this out. Execration. It's a tricky spot to fight in. Yeah, because you might risk fighting into the Winter's Curse, so looks like they will have to surrender this. Aegis Cheese Shard coming out for free, mid one. That's going to be a free shard for him. And that's just going to boost his DPS with the Lucent Beam spam coming true. He does go MKB on his Luna as well. So he's got a lot of right to roll.
Jumping in. Oh, Bob, he got the Aegis up. Curse is there. Bob does manage to snatch the Aegis away. His Arfu now is going to try and at least get him down. Where the hell's mid one gone? Still around. Eclipse is there. RR. He's going to be able to go down. Still these illusions on the Luna causing a lot of problems for SMG, but they're still going to be able to turn onto Bob. They've got the TA, and they should be able to take him down. No problem. More tips out. Palos, he'll take it on the left track. There's no buyback on Bob. So even though it was a really nice Aegis steal, I think this will mean one lane of barracks the way of SMG.
Yeah, they should be able to melt right through. I'd say they have the possibility for just going for all of them. Without the TA, there's not much you can really do to stop this. Now, they have to go through backdoor. All the lanes have been shoved out by Palos, so he's done a good job of cutting off the push for now. Not going to be enough time, and they still rip through backdoor again. SMG, they just don't care.
Yeah. Creeps will make their way over eventually. Get that top racks, but they want more. I mean, they've got 45 seconds without Bob's TA. Normal punch. Was there onto the Grimstroke now. Snowball, Arfu's getting very deep. Walrus punch out as well, raging. He's maybe just going to tie to the wall here. So they get him. They find more. Palos, he's trying to fight back. He'll go on to KB. He has to eat the cheese. He is still not able to get the darks here. Arfu does finally drop, but this game is looking to be very over now. As Execration, I just can't see them being able to defend. But they may try one more time with Bob as he is about to respawn. It is a very tough ask. Normal punch out, again onto RR. Rax is being hit here. Mid one, he's just going to focus it down. Bob's in, he's got the Meld Strike, but the curse is there. Moon puts an end to it all once again. The damage is flying out. Overgrowth, it's not going to do enough, or maybe mid one, he's starting to drop low, but the normal punch is out as well. They do take down mid one, but they may lose Bob. No detection though. Bob's still alive, but KP goes in with the Iron Shot, trying to get the job done. Bob, he is still alive, trying to turn. He does survive. In fact, they even found Moon. Alright, they're defending. Onto the Abaddon. And eventually Rogi will drop. Megas aren't up, so Execration, they've successfully defended.
That is on the edge. Like that was right on the edge for Bob. If he died there, that would have been it. And he managed to hold off SMG. They've still got a win position here. 2 lanes of racks gone. 1 racks left with no tier 3. They can maybe look to play safe or look for pickoffs. There were a lot of buybacks committed there from Execration. 1 or 2 diebacks at this point can just give them the numbers advantage to just rush up. You just have to be a bit cautious about Bob. Bob is still the big hero that hits hard for Execration, and he does hit really hard. He's got the Hurricane Pike to protect himself now as well. And you might actually have to consider using the Winter's Curse on someone else within Bob's range, just to get that initial kill going. Because the Winter's Curse on Bob felt like it might have given him more time to actually consider his next actions. Didn't really hammer in too much damage onto Bob as well, because everyone else is super underfarmed and the right clicks aren't great anyway.
Oh, the comeback's coming, John? Let me show you this double damage rune at the top rune spot. There we go. Of course, it is going to go the way of TA, as is, normal. We've seen this too many times over the past week, I'll tell you. And so maybe we are going to see a comeback.
That would be quite the comeback. Now, I'm looking at Dota Plus, win priority, win percentage. is 92% SMG. It crashed a while ago. It looked like it was a 99 or something. Went back to 92. So there's an 8% chance according to the AI. Maybe a bit wider. It has to be executed perfectly here on Execration. SMG can't afford to give openings like that for Bob to hammer away. Because he went all in on the damage build. He can melt right through some of these heroes if he's given enough time to do so.
Raging.
And
That was a very quick reaction there from Raging Potato. So KB jumped in for the vacuum and just a really quick blink into that tree line.
just timely escape for Raging. They're trying to do what they can to stabilize these lanes. The bot lane's the only one that's equal here for SMG and Execration. The rest of it will just naturally shove back. So they're trying to keep stalling out. Now there is an Aeon Disc on Moon, which is very helpful for the Winter Wyvern to reposition, maybe get a good curse when everyone commits onto him, and just set up for that. You do have the Aeon Disc on Raging Potato as well, so he doesn't need to panic use his Soulbind and Dark Portrait. He can start to take more deliberate actions with it, start to really line up bigger illusions to make. Again, always aiming for mid one has been pretty impactful. As long as SMG can't focus in on those Dark Portrait illusions, they will do a lot of damage. Smoke out from Execration, trying to get out of their base. If they find a pick-off, especially on Moon, that could be really big. Moon bought back earlier.
Yeah, but Arfu, he's got some great positioning on the Tusk to make sure he breaks the smoke there on Raging. It's Raging just frontlining as that pos 3 Grimstroke, trying to get a nice Dark Portrait off to start the fight. Naturally, he is going to be looking for mid one on that Luna. That's the illusion you want. Speaking of mid one, he's got a nice illusionist cape now, just in case his illusions weren't doing enough damage. Buff it up a little bit. Into the bot racks they go. They want the megas up. That double damage has been popped by Bob. He doesn't have much time on it left. Dark Portrait is going to be taken down immediately. SMG, they'll try to move in to put a lid on this game.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Cliff will be forced out. KP, he's there with the vacuum. Bob immediately out with the BKB, but it's very early. So mid one now can feel much safer. Moving back in. Inkswell is there with the roll in. They got the Winter's Curse. It's only on Bob though, so it won't last that long. And now the side blades. They're going to start bouncing around. Have they got mid one? He gets a Satanic off with the Overgrowth. Now the double Yule's out. Bob's already clapping. He looks confident. They've got KP and now mid one. He's dropping way too low. They do get him. Bobby's on a double. Palos, he gets a double himself. Moon, run sir, run. It looks like they've got the Wyvern. They found him out. They will take him down. A triple kill out for Bob. 2 buybacks committed by SMG, but it's not going to lead to anything.
Bottom barracks are under attack.
It goes back to that point I was making earlier. I don't know if Bob has to be your Winter's Curse target, because you can't kill him. It's only Moon who can focus in that damage, and he does have good damage. It's just not enough to really melt the TA by himself. So you might want to target someone else. Try to get them to kill their own heroes, get the numbers advantage from there. Good punishment out from Execration though. They hold out. They know that Bob would be the target for the Winter's Curse, so they just stay away from him. And Bob just lives through. He gets to clap his hands, gets good kills. SMG, they lose their gold lead. 2k up now for Execration. And they still have this insane map advantage with 2 lanes shoved out. So you still have to put in a lot of work on Execration to kind of get more off the map. I don't think they can really do anything with this set of diebacks just yet. They kind of have to wait for one more fight, maybe wait for the Roshan longer respawn as well. So that is going to give enough time for SMG to mount a resistance on a Rosh when it's up. And I think Execration just needs to get the vision out to ensure Roshan won't be stolen. They have a good ward on the ramp area. They managed to get the trap down on the Rosh pit. So they should be aware of when Roshan's up. They just need to take that fight smartly. Like, if they do get caught out with a curse there, it's much easier to get that kill in a tight spot like that.
That it absolutely is. Bob sitting at almost 7k worth of net worth on this TA now. Going to buy out the Swift Blink. You're in that divine territory now. In fact, John, I didn't realize that Bob had an enchanted quiver. You didn't, I don't think you mentioned that either. He got an enchanted quiver on this TA.
Dire's bottom tower
It goes without saying. You play TA, You get the Grove Bow, you get Enchanted Quiver. Maybe if the game goes long enough, you can even have the Ballista as well. Who knows? For Bob, that would be beautiful. If it drags on. Like, it's such a tightly wound spring here. You know, like there's so much tension. Like one fight can just turn things around for Execration. One more fight. And one more fight could kind of just end the game for SMG because their 2 racks is up, tier 4's exposed. They can just run down if they find that big fight.
That they can. But they need to get their initiation right. Moon. That is the one target they really want to catch out. But with that Shadow Blade pop, the Silver Edge popped, the Arctic Burn, he just flaps about. It's way too quick to catch.
You know what's silly? If you look at the net worth, Moon is almost barely below Palos, but he has so much more impact, right? Like he's not even that farmed on this core Winter Wyvern. It's still very scary, just because of what he can do on the map with just that move speed and the control from the curse. It's just ridiculous. He doesn't need much gold.
I mean, I can't imagine that hero getting nerfed next patch, Sean. It seems like a very balanced hero.
Yeah, you know, definitely not going to target the Cold Embrace as well.
No.
It's a balanced spell. It's not busted at all.
Well, why would you target the Cold Embrace, John? Winter Wyvern's a core hero, right?
Moon is doing a good job on it, though. Again, this is, like, I think the second time he's done it in Pro Series. Roche, started by SMG. That is with a refresh. Could be big, especially a double Eclipse or a double Winter's Curse back-to-back. Could be the control they need. Execration can't afford to give this one for free.
No, they certainly cannot, but it seems like they're not 100% aware that it's happening, so it is probably going to go for free unless they realize soon. Oh, and they are not. They are not going to realize it. Bob, he's still going to hang around going after Rogi, but we'll blink out. Still Rogi. He's thinking about a chase. Surge forward, trying to catch a straggler. Nobody from Execration is going to stick around long enough. But now, I mean, you've got the Aegis, the Refresher Shard, the Cheese. Everything is there. Where is that Refresher Shard, by the way?
It's on Moon. Winter's Curse. 2 Winter's Curse. There's a double damage as well left behind. They could just sneak back for it. Look at that. Roshan done. Sure, take a DD as well. Why not?
Yeah. Sometimes you get it before the Roshan. Sometimes you get it after the Roshan. Just depends on how good of a player you've been. And SMG. Well, Moon. Oh, that's a target. Winter's Curse is there. They've got the big one. They've got Bob. Wall to be dropped. But the Refraction blocks out all the damage. Still Walrus Punch. Food buying more time to get more damage onto Bob, as now you've got KB. They don't connect the vacuum. Bob is going to be able to reset, but in the meantime, SMG with that double damage rune, they are rushing for that bot lane. They haven't got creeps, but they've got creeps through the mid lane, so they won't need the bot lane ones. Soulbind there, roll in, BDZ, no playing games, Magnetize is out, mid one, he's already dropping low, but he's got that secondary life. They need the first one though, and they might just get it. They even got Arfu. Are we going to have a repeat of that last team fight?
My God.
Moon's backed off, he has not got another curse yet, he hasn't refreshed. He's been very patient. Mid one, trying to back off. There is going to be an ink swell onto nobody. Meanwhile, Raging, he refreshes himself, so the Soulbind's there again. They do get Rogi. Palos is down, but Bob, he's on the main target. He's got mid one. In fact, no, they go after Moon instead. They've got an even better target on that Winter Wyvern, and now it's just the Luna and KP versus the world, but Bob, he's dropping way too quick. He has the buyback, and we'll have to commit it. Raging, he'll be targeted now mid one. He'll get the job done. An ultra kill out for mid one. And it's a 2v4 scenario now. How do you defend? KB, he's in with the normal punch already. Vacuum back on Bob. He'll force staff away, but look at the amount of slow there. On that TA. He's going to survive as they get the Megas up. And now SMG, they'd love to go for those tier 4s, and they should be able to get it done. Arfu, or rather KB. Another normal punch, and there's your curse out. Bob, he's trapped up. He's going to try and run, but they drop the walls. That'll be a dieback, and that'll be game. There's more tips, more stickers being placed here by SMG. They'll dive the fountain now. And they call it Execration. They have seen enough. SMG looking very good once again. They'll be able to proceed through the lower bracket. And unfortunately, we are going to have to say our goodbyes to Execration.
It's a really tight series from both sides. Very well played to SMG to close out this last game. There were moments of brilliance from Execration there, though. Their defense was great. Bob was just on a tear on his special TA, just not enough to close out. I think the big shortcoming there for Execration was their other cores. They only really had scaling on Bob's TA. They were getting some scaling out from their Grimstroke with the Dark Portrait. It just wasn't enough to have impact. And of course, Leshrac tapers off very fast towards the late game. SMG, they pull off the Winter Wyvern once more for Moon. They get the farm up. They control the mid lane very well. And mid one was just allowed to really free farm as much as he wants there. So they just managed to really build up. Very tight series, but lower bracket. Execration's out. SMG do get to move on. And I believe we should have an interview lined up shortly. Not quite in yet, but I do believe we should be expecting Afu to come in here.
Excellent. We'll wait that one out. We'll see when Afu does get in. Of course, it has been a long series, so you can't blame the man for taking his time. I'm sure they're very happy.
We have
after the
KP.
series. We have KP
I was
coming
baited
in.
by our admin. I was baited.
Dougie got us. We'll bring KP in. Mr. KP, congratulations on your victory, sir. How are you feeling after that best of 3?
Hello, guys. I'm doing alright.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Intense, but I'm chill.
That's good to hear. I'll get straight into it, KP. Last time we spoke to Roger, he said you guys were looking a bit rough earlier on because you guys weren't practicing too much. Now you guys look amazing. I mean, it just looks very clean. The strategy's all working out. Would you attribute that back to the practice you guys are doing now as a team?
Nah, he's bullshitting, dude. Nah, we pretty much practice the same. I don't know, like, I guess we just haven't been together for too long. But, like, yeah, we definitely practice like the same before and now. So I guess we're just more used to each other, more chemistry, and so on.
Fair enough. I've got a question. I think I kind of asked Raji this as well. I knew you guys are in the boot camp together in Malaysia right now. Has that been a big factor to help? Like you mentioned, being closer together. Are you guys enjoying each other's presence? Are you finding being with your teammates fun, KP?
Yeah, I do actually. It's like for me this time it's more like a good balance between being together and having like a lot of alone time, because right now we don't like live together. Like some of them go back to stay at their own house and so I find this balance really good. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, you guys do get to move on in the lower bracket. Is there any specific team you want to match up against next? After the upper bracket matches, who do you guys really want to face off against here in the tournament?
Yeah, I want to play against Fnatic because I want to tell the world that CEO was right.
Oh, I love it.
Go. There you go. That's the confidence, man. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what we love to hear. Thank you for that, KP. KP, I won't keep you too long. I'll just ask you for the Aussie fans around. Do you miss Australia or do you like Malaysia more? Watch yourself, KP. Be careful here.
I mean, I'd do anything to play on like 10 ping, so I'm gonna have to go with Malaysia here. Sorry, boys.
My goodness. Well, that's fair. I understand.
There you go, Mike.
I understand. I mean, I'm stuck here playing on 90 ping. He gets 10 ping. That's why I can't be as good as KP, John. That's the reason. It's all just
yeah.
It's the only reason. Oh, really?
Okay, KP, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Congratulations again, and we look forward to watching you guys in your next series.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. See ya.
See ya. Congratulations.
Love speaking to KP. Great guy. Tried to save himself in that last question I did have. Obviously, he had to. He's an honest man. He's an honest man. But what he really meant was he wanted to be in Australia, John. But obviously, he loves the beautiful, beautiful country of Malaysia. I've been to Malaysia, John. I enjoyed it too. It's a very nice place to be. Still, with that, we do have our second series popping up very, very soon. We've got T1 against, who was it, in fact? I completely forgot.
Motivate Trust.
Motivate Trust, right? That's the one. Yeah. T1 versus Motivate Trust.
We've got Toy standing in for Jackie. Remember that ending where they just typed out?
That is right.
He's stepping in. We'll have to see if he can fill the shoes of Jackie there. And should be a great one. I mean, the history behind both teams, right? We saw it since Team Among Us in last year's Pro Series with Cuckoo, Whitemon. These guys are close. They're very close, and I'm keen to see how much All Chat comes out there.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a very, very fun matchup between these two. I mean, right now, not too much lobby chatter, which is nice, but it looks like Savage has gotten started on Toy, so we'll get to it. We've got to join the lobby as well. We've got to see what's going on with these teams before we do get into the next draft. But it is MLP Dota and johnxfire, and we'll be back after a 10-minute break to see how this second series does pan out.